Hello everyone, this is SillyMickel Adzema. This is 14th Prasad of Great Reveal by the Planetmates. Back up, put this in context. The 13th Prasad, paraphrase, was this. Your change from nomadic to sedentary lifeways had two significant effects on your species, each of which have been instrumental in creating the apocalypse emergency facing you and all other planetmates today. The first effect was that of severing your connection with the divine, what you call God, to the point of near total separation. As your Michelangelo painted it, you and the divine touch the end of the fingertip. This is about right, and quite the fall from grace from what had been, and the way it was, the way it is for all other instances. Divine Providence serves all planetmates in two major ways. The first of these is the continued from the womb and birth, the continued perfect direction and guidance of our lives toward the growth and life ways that are the best, as determined by God and or the all that is, for our ultimate fulfillment and spiritual progress. The divine hand guides and teaches us along perfect pathways through the exigencies of what we call fate, in quotes. We see difficulties, obstacles, struggles, deprivations, and pain as the teaching tools of the benevolent teacher, guiding us toward lives where we end up ever closer and more understanding of our rootedness and eventually even identity with God. Whereas, because of your crazed, backwards thinking and your insistence on trying to control your own destiny, however much more difficult that would be, since you resisted what you call hardships and suffering, so your radical separation from the divine caused you to mistake always the divine lessons and blessings for evil, for wrongness. In this way, you guaranteed your failure in the game of life. As a species, your cumulative failures you piled one upon another as if they were progressive achievements, not the increasing web of disaster that is reaching its culmination today. Now, that is the 13th Psalm. That's a paraphrase of it. Now, this is the 14th Prasad as received from the Planetmates. Second, Divine Providence is perfect providence in ways that you cannot see ahead of time. You are not only taught, but your physical needs for food, water, shelter, and so on are more perfectly provided by nature in the ways most beneficial to the health of both your minds and bodies. When you controlled your diet, you dismissed Divinity's perfect banquet. Perfect in the sense of its effects on your primary purposes in being alive, not just existing. It is for this reason that you have myths of very early ancestors living to ages of up to 1,000 years, which was indeed possible, but for reasons that will be clear later, not particularly desirable. So in determining your much less diverse and unhealthy diet, because of your insistence on your own ideas for sustenance over the sustenance perfectly provided by nature for your nomadic foraging forebears, you created diseases you never had before. Okay, so that is 14th Prasad as divided by Planetmates. Now, so let me paraphrase that, summarize it in my words. The second major way that Divine Providence serves all planetmates is in its being perfect providence in ways that no one can see ahead of time. We are not only taught and guided toward our ultimate life fulfillment by Divine Providence, as we've said, but even our physical forms are most perfectly sustained in following Divine Providence. So both our existential and physical needs are most perfectly provided by following Divine Providence. Regarding the physical needs for food, water, shelter, and so on are more perfectly provided by nature in ways that are most beneficial to the health of both our minds and bodies. So when you separated from the divine, even defy divine assistance, when you decided it would be you who would control your diet, you dismissed Divinity's perfect banquet. Perfect in the sense of its effects on your primary purposes in being alive, not just existing. Yet before you wrested control of what you would eat and you let nature lead you in your diet, your kind lived much longer lives. Let me read that again. Before you wrested control of what you would eat, and at that time, you let nature lead you in your diet. At that time, your kind lived much longer lives. It is for this reason that you have myths of early ancestors living to ages of up to 1,000 years, which was indeed possible, but for reasons that will be clear later, not particularly desirable. But when you determined your much less diverse and unhealthy diet, you created diseases you never had before. Your life expectancy rapidly diminished. You would often choose foods that would please the palate and not necessarily nourish you. Previously, you had a perfect alignment, as we do, between what is desirable and pleasurable and what is most beneficial to our health. But with your increasing split from your own feelings and instincts, your crazed brains sought foods that satisfy imaginary, not real, physical desires. So with this insistence on your own ideas for sustenance over the sustenance perfectly provided by nature for your nomadic foraging forebears, you added the suffering of unnecessary physical illnesses and earlier loss of strength, and even a physical form itself to your unhappy lot. So, in summary, we're pointing out how, as we continue to control our environment, even determining the, the kinds of things we would eat, we created diseases that we would not have had, that we had not had previously. They're pointing out that in trusting in a divine providence, not just spiritually, existentially, in terms of the kind of life we would have, the fulfillment of life we would have, but even our physical body's needs were better taken care of than when our ego took over and decided that nature's ways were wrong and that the ego could decide better for us. And so again, we're pointing out that ego is opposed to the divine, and ego is wrong. Ego is the Maya, the illusion that we are right, we are better than nature, and makes us feel good at the expense of being true. So they're constantly telling us that we are a species that would rather feel good being wrong than being surrounded by all the rest of our species agreeing that something is true even though it's wrong, rather than being happy in the truth. We would rather have a false sense of superiority than a real sense of bliss, happiness, feelings of love, awareness, consciousness, and blissful unity with the divine. Enough said. SillyMickel Adzema, out.